Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning on a Sunday morning. आजकल तो हर रोज ही Sunday होता है, कुछ पता नहीं चलता until you have to sing. With all of us working from home, it becomes a little difficult to kind of follow what days it is. But thank you for joining us. इस दौरान हमें हसीब और मुझे बहुत से लोगों ने request की है as to how to cope with this situation of lockdown and COVID-19. उसके अंदर एक totally different, we have been shaken out of our comfort zone, and for that reason we don't know how to behave and the instincts are taking over. मैं हसीब से यही बात करी थी कि after thousands and thousands of years अब हमें वो वाली feeling आई है जो हमारे ancestors को आई थी when they were faced with life-threatening situations. That was at that time in the jungles, etc. लेकिन अभी हमें इस concrete jungle में रहते हुए भी ये situation आ गई है कि it is a life-threatening, and the most basic instincts of human beings used to be fight or flight. So strangely enough, human beings had to choose either of the two, fight or flight. इस वक्त हम दोनों कर रहे हैं at different levels of our life. Flight इसलिए है कि we have closed ourselves in our homes, we are keeping social distance, etc. और fight ये है कि we are fighting with this shaking out of the comfort zone as well. So before we share with you that how to be emotionally strong and stress-free in such a situation, the main thing is that do realize that not only is our mind involved in this particular situation, but physically हमारी बॉडी जो है वो कॉर्टिजोल और एड्रेनलिन जनरेट कर रही है जो हमें फाइट और फ्लाइट के लिए चाहिए होता है. अब मजे की बात ये है कि बिकॉज कोई आउटलेट नहीं है हमारे लिए, so these chemicals are circulating in our body, and as it's building up, stress जो है वो और ज्यादा increase हो रहा है. So this is what I want to share, that the first thing to do is accept the fact that what we are going through is emotional, it's physical, and it's psychological.
Absolutely right. Yeah. And see, the thing is, we've never felt anything like this before. Everybody knows this. I'm not going to repeat what others have been saying, but I think the whole psyche behind surviving these turbulent times is how to be emotionally stable. Now, emotionally stable does not mean कि you are in a AI mode and Dr. Spock बन जाए आप, or आपके emotions now. Emotions आएंगे, fluctuations आएंगी, उतार चढ़ाव आएंगे. Nobody can be very consistent. In fact, only a dead man can be consistent. So whatever emotions come to you, do express them. Nothing wrong in them. The only thing is कि we must have some strategies to cope with this stressful situation, because most people don't know how to combine their emotional brain and their logical brain. They give in to the emotional brain only, and the logics take a back seat, and we don't have any idea as to, or no clue as to how to sort of adjust ourselves to this new realities. So yes, our expectations have been shaken up.
Yeah, we've been shaken out of our comfort zone, Haseeb. Never ever have the human beings been thrown out in such a way. And comfort zone के बाद क्या आता है? Fear zone आता है, जिससे हम past 6 weeks say we went through. And then there is only a way forward कि आप growth and learning zone में जाते हो या नहीं जाते हो. So अभी तक अगर fear zone के अंदर ही बैठे रहेंगे, because panic zone या fear zone जिसे कहा जाता है, so we will there'll be no growth. In fact, there'll be a kind of a regression as well.
Beautifully said. You talked about the growth mindset, and I think let's make the basis of this talk based on two mindsets. Number one is a fixed mindset, and the other is a growth mindset. Now, what would somebody in a fixed mindset situation do? Now, where does this concept come from? The fixed mindset and the growth mindset. I'm actually doing a lot of research, and this is my new chapter also, and I'm writing an article on LinkedIn on the same issue too right now. And I've actually come up with a template of situations and categories and things in which, a situation, and then how would a person with a fixed mindset react to this? and how would a person with a growth mindset react to this? So these are times for the people with a growth mindset to cultivate and nurture this feeling more in them. This is not the end of the world. This is, although a lot of people are saying out there in the mountains when I go and walk, जी क़यामत दी निशानियां आ रही हैं ते क़यामत आ रही है ते हुन ते बिल्कुल किस्सा मुकन लगा है मुसलमाना ते बड़ा बड़ा इस वेले कहर नाज़िल हो रहे हैं मैं क्या सिर्फ मुसलमाना ते नहीं हो रही है पूरी दुनिया ते हो रहे हैं so एक तो ये बात है कि जी कि everybody starts categorizing things according to their own belief systems so this is also like perhaps more of a fixed mindset kind of a situation. It's not just the Muslims, it's not just the Christians, it's not just the Buddhists, it's not just the Hindus, it's not just any other or an atheist or an agnostic. Every human being, every living organism in this world right now is under a threat. Now, this has never happened before. Now, this is the sign of globalization. Globalization, all right, so that's interesting. Thousands and thousands of years ago, when we were not in a society, when we were living, we were nomads and foragers, and we were sort of like roaming around the jungles and so on and so forth. So we know this for a fact that this actually happened. We were not born in the big cities and so on and so forth. Like, we were, our generation was, but our species, like the Homo sapiens or the human beings or the so-called Ashraf al-Makhlukat, as we claim, and so on and so forth. So but how did this happen? So the scientific discoveries brought us over here. Like the first was the taming of the fire. The second was the invent of an axe
or tools,
stone axes, and then so on and so forth. And then we learned how to maneuver and how to mold iron to our advantage and so on and so forth. So and then came the agricultural revolution about 12,000 years ago. Now, this actually started bringing societies together. When societies became more secure, boundaries came in, and more need for inventions was required to cultivate more agriculture, and then cross-pollination, and then the global trades, everything enabled the oranges came from China to the rest of the world, and similarly, likewise, many other aspects came. So fast forward, industrial revolution, the steam engine, and many other inventions along the way happened. The steam engine enabled the railway lines. The railway lines brought in larger cities. The larger cities brought in more industrial revolution. So which was that everything became more of an assembly line. Our education system and everything and all the research was all about productivity in the commercial world. So everything has been commercially driven so far, and this is so what this enabled us. So now imagine, fast forward several years, and then a couple of 100 years and up to now, and then in the last several years, we know this for a fact. So then societies came into a much larger picture. I mean, before then, there were a few clusters of large cities, but then again, mostly were sort of like Mesopotamia was the first ever cosmopolitan city on the globe. And now we have many cosmopolitan cities. So the airline traffic, the connectivity between the air travels, the shipping lines, and the connectivity of the internet has brought the whole world together into one globalization. So this corona virus is a consequence of that globalization that nobody was actually foreseeing. So coming down to the current challenges that we are facing as a species, is sort of is to sort of recreate ourselves, our health standards, and so on and so forth, and all these sort of researches. You never know that corona was actually man-made. There are theories about this too, that this was more of a weapon that was actually used and was lying dormant for a while. And then maybe whoever created coronavirus, if they created coronavirus, was the most stupid man on earth. Now this is out of their hands. So this is what the unknown thingy happening and so on and so forth. Now, only God knows as to what is going to be the future after the pandemic revolution or the turbulence takes place. However, each individual has a responsibility is to offload the baggages of the past and not just to think in the same framework or perceptions in which we used to think before, but to recreate themselves with new strategies as to what might be happening. The chances of an individual surviving in the future are much less as compared to the past. Why? Because the whole system supported it. But who are the people who will come out alive? Who are the people who will come out in leadership positions? New leaders will emerge because of this emergency. Many old leaders will die and fade away.
The concept of leadership is also going to change, Haseeb, because who knows what kind of a situation it's going to be post-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, either an authoritarian or a lifestyle ahead with less of independence, etc. So we don't really know. So a new kind of leader has to emerge who will keep both the things in mind.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, it brings us back to the centuries old question: do situations create leaders, or leaders create situations? Well, both. But then again, this situation is definitely going to be creating more and more and more, right? Why? Because we don't know in terms of crisis who actually emerges, what leadership potential comes out, what new system of things is going to shape up. So capitalism, as we see, has failed, which is why we are here right now. We were a target of consumerism, and that consumerism has actually sort of like brought us where we are today. In that global network, it suited the commercial organizations where they were. But then again, where did it leave the individual? We think we have civil rights or human rights, or we live in a democracy, but we are being manipulated by the media and the political people, religious parties, firqa varana, and so on and so forth. So we are, the average human being does not even have his own mind to think. Why? Because he was never encouraged, because he was always imposed with ideas and so on and so forth. So here we are. There's no point talking about the past. It pains some of us to even think that we ourselves are responsible for where we are today as a species. I mean, we've always been looking at differences, that this is white and this is black and this is yellow and this is some other color or this is brown. But, and we look at the differences in people. There is a, in anthropology, when we were studying anthropology, about 20 years ago, when we developed a program called cross-cultural, multicultural management and leadership skills and so on. So we had to go through a lot of cross-cultural studies and so on, especially living in Dubai and UAE, where we sort of like had, I think we trained about 144 nationalities that actually were there at that time. And then out of those, 70 or 80 at least we have trained on an up close and personal. We've done trainings in 46 countries. So there is a concept, there's a new concept I'm going to share with you. Most probably 99.9% of the viewers will not know what this concept is. The concept is of clines, C-L-I-N-E-S, clines. What does it mean, clines? Well, anthropologists, they define, and they have a very, very interesting saying in basic anthropology, there are no races, there are only clines. There are no races, there are only clines. So what is the concept of clines? So the writer explains in the book, if a person reaches on a boat on one side of the island, and he gets off to see people with big noses and small ears, he says, strange species. Okay, good deal. Now he travels on the boat to the other side of the island. Now it's a very huge, big island. And he sees people with small noses and big ears. He says, different species. Okay. So he can compare the physical characteristics of the two races if he travels by boat on this huge island. However, if he leaves his boat in the first station and he starts traveling by road slowly, every 100 kilometers or like 200 or 500 kilometers, people's noses will start changing shapes and ears start changing shapes. And then by the time he reaches the end of that island where he would have gone by boat, he does not see the difference between the races. Why? Because the transition is so slow that he cannot tell the difference between the races. This concept is called declines. Secondly, one race, another race. On the outside, one brown egg, one white egg. When you break them, they all are the same from the bottom, from the inside. So we all have the same emotions. We all have the same fears. We all have the same greed. We all have the same political issues. So we have a common bond. And nowhere before or never before in the history of mankind, because of globalization, because of internet, because of so many other platforms, we are so well connected that one person's discovery is taken advantage of by the other one. So it has actually given us a lot of room to grow as a species. But little did we know that here we are stuck in our homes, lockdown situation. Imagine if we didn't have internet. Imagine if you didn't have internet right now and you were totally shut off from the rest of the world, living in uncertainty. How would that be? At least be thankful. But don't misuse this. Don't put your TV on. This is one of the tips of this talk, by the way. Don't put your TV on too much. Don't look at the news too much. Don't look at the talk shows. Talk shows are only manipulating you, or they only want their rankings, because they see it as an opportunity to improve their rankings.
The entire media is manipulating, Haseeb. I mean, when you were saying that if there was no internet, I sometimes feel there would be less fear factor rather than more. Because, with all these posts and all these memes and all this information and unauthenticated news that are coming, anything that comes from the media, you think that it's 100% authenticated. Who knows where it originated and what they are doing for their ranking? Or all these videos on YouTube, they are getting thousands and thousands of views or million views on it. And they are reaping the benefit of that. So we are not really sure. I think without the internet, ignorance is bliss. Maybe that would have been better as well.
Ignorance is bliss. We do need some strategies for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So expectations have been damaged. Our hopes, we don't know what to hope for. We don't know what to dream for. Our dreams, those of us who did have dreams, majority did not have dreams. Subah hoti hai, sham hoti hai, umar यूं ही tamam hoti hai. That was a lifestyle. Although they can see it in other people, but they don't see it in themselves. So there is no hope. There is no. I mean, we were recently conducting a workshop for PPL, and it was our, well, we're proud to have this online Zoom workshop, and it was a lot of tweaking of what we do, physically speaking, in hotels on a U-shape arrangement for the last 24 years. We had to convert those contents online, and we worked really smart at that as to what are the challenges people are facing today with regards to the topic that we were actually conducting. So we sort of developed new content over there with regards to the overall macro situation in which we are in. Problem is, we all have our mental stability. We all have our mental instability. We sort of lose focus. We lose focus on what needs to be done at this time. So Zaufi and I give this example in our workshops also. Something known as the locus of control. What is the locus of control? The locus of control is the area or the circle in which we can control something. Like example, worrying about the weather, or worrying about the political parties, or a football game outcome, or cricket game outcome, or whatever it might be, external situations. We have no control over those things. So why are we wasting our energies and being stressed out on the things in which we cannot even see? And some people say, "Yaar, you need to be involved. Halate hazra ke bare mein pata hona chahiye." Ab pata hona chahiye, but knowledge that diffuses or takes away your level of motivation away, we don't need that knowledge. If it affects your relationship, if it affects your motivation and your inspiration in life, if the first thought that comes to your mind when you're in an alpha state, when you're about to wake up in the morning, if that is a negative thought, something is not going right, because the whole day is going to be like that. So kabhi Muslims here, you can sort of talk about where did this come from? Where did this come from?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. One of my windows just popped up. So So, locus of control. So, one is the locus of control, things we can control. What are the things we can control? Think about it. What can you actually control? You cannot control any other human being, not even your wife, not your husband, not your children, not your parents, not your siblings.
Not your colleagues, not your bosses, not your subordinates.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only person who would listen to you would probably, if you have a dog, you call him, hey, come over here, he'll come to you because you're feeding him food. The cats are a bit moody, but then again, but yeah. So what can we control? What we can control is this body.
Me,
Starting
myself,
from
I.
starting from here, your thoughts. This is very important, and then your physical being, your health. So when other things are not working well, one good strategy, and all wise people do this, is to bring their focus, attention on their own self. Let me build more resilience. Let me build more flexibility in my body. Let me build more strength in my body. And let me start paying attention to what I have been ignoring for the sake of maintaining my job, maintaining my status, maintaining my power. And I sacrificed so many things on my health in the process. And most people in their old age, they look back at their life and say, "Yaar, मैंने तो जिंदगी अपनी ज़ाया कर दी. I just totally completely wasted my life. I could have focused on more important things, but my focus was sort of like elsewhere. Why? Because we were manipulated by the system. So when are we going to say no? If you're not going to say no now, when the hell are we going to say no to it now then? So we have to stop listening to the media who does not want us to be motivated. Negative news sells more. Pessimism sells more. When somebody goes to the office and they make a call to their colleague and say, "Ah, yaar, koi nayi tazi sunao. Tell me something new." What are they doing? They're actually fishing for something negative to come to them because it suits them to stay in a miserable state. In our Pakistani and Indian culture, everything revolves around crying and depression, even romance. Mirza Ghalib se leke Mukesh tak, our romance is not complete until we actually cry. What is this bullshit? We don't even know how to be happy. When we are happy, when we are sort of like elated and excited about things, we think we are being far away from reality. That is not being far away from reality. You are actually being in sync with your happy feelings internally.
Because Haseeb, misery is addictive. I think the most addictive thing in this world is misery. When you're miserable, you want to be more miserable and you want to make other people miserable as well, which is why people stay in that zone. If, for example, when this COVID situation came and I was not looking at some videos, etc., I said that I will deal with it rather than that's not that running away from it, but I don't want excess information. Anything that just freezes me or creates more fear factor or creates all those negative hormones in my body, I don't need that. But it is very, very addictive, which is why, as Haseeb was saying, we do not enjoy our happinesses. We don't enjoy our joys. We enjoy our misery much more than that, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. See, the thing is motivation. Now, it might be a term misused and so on and so forth. But when we talk about motivation, what are we talking about? We're talking about that fire inside your belly. We're talking about your ambition. We're talking about doing something worthwhile. We're talking about helping somebody or being passionate about something. A person who's not enthusiastic about anything. What is the purpose of the life? What is the purpose? Just existing? That's sheep mentality. So you're either a wolf mentality or you're a sheep mentality. And you need to keep that man the hunter or woman the hunter alive. And unfortunately, the whole system does not allow that to happen. I mean, the whole system revolves around an assembly line. Assembly line, okay, you go to school, your child is born, you go to school, you go to college, you go to university, you get a degree, you get a job. Well done. And the higher the job, the more Ivy League you go to, the higher your job you get. And that is what we are going into. How many people in their old age, on their deathbed, regret the life they have had so far. A lot of people, have those regrets. They regret the risks they never took in their life. They only fall into that pattern of the sheep mentality because it is safe to play that game. Well, now it's not safe anymore. Now we have to thrive. The risk takers, the creative people, the people who can create new content, people who can create new situations and develop something, those people don't have to worry about it because according to the external situation, they can create anything new. The sheep mentality, which is 97% of the people on this earth, they will follow. So it all depends whether you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So these are the things that you sort of like have had an impact. Gee, Zofi, would you like to say something also?
No, I was just saying that I started by saying that in this situation, we are back 10,000 years ago and we are in a flight or flight syndrome, as it said, which creates higher stress levels. So with all these hormones, with all this adrenaline, with all this cortisol that is going on, it's making us more stressed. And then we've started working from home. So whatever little physical exercise that we could have had, that's also curtailed. And I hope that there are people, I mean, my heart goes out to the people who are in apartments where they don't go out, they don't have places to go out because of social distancing, etc. So what is happening is there is less physical exercise. Haseeb was talking about that, how due to work, we did not concentrate on our physical well-being. But before I go into that, I'm going to share that, guys, how long will this COVID-19 last? And there's only a very small percentage of the population which, God forbid, will actually succumb to the corona. But the thing is, the mental repercussions that the whole world is going through are going to outlast the COVID-19 situation. So as much as it's possible that we are looking after our physical well-being by staying 6 feet distance and not meeting people and staying in a lockdown, it is equally important that we pay attention to our mental well-being, because we are going to need strong nerves after the situation and after this chaos is over.
So I'm glad that I have Zaufyshan's patience and that we have a good relationship even in lockdown. A lot of people are getting in touch with us because we're also life coaches, right? Business coaches, life coaches, and then so on and so forth. But a lot of people are getting in touch. Why? Because everybody's facing problems in their relationships right now. And yes, the stresses get on to us. And like the father is more concerned about what is going to happen to his children after this lockdown is over. Are they ready for the challenges ahead? The mother is concerned about the health, the foods people are eating, and so on and so forth, which is nothing wrong in that. The children, however, are taking this as a break. Some of them are just watching shows and watching Netflix and movies and everything also, just to pass the time, that this is something which is beyond our control. So might as well divert our attention into the stories. Now, all human beings, we know this for a fact, that we love to listen to stories. Stories bind us together. Stories also break us. So what are stories? Remember those bedtime stories before the advent of TV and internet and everything also? And then people's imagination used to be enhanced. Same thing happened when programs came, when the TVs came. What does it mean, program? Program means that somebody is programming your mind. Think about this. You are being manipulated. When you are sitting in front of a screen and watching something, here you are. This is how you look. Constantly looking like this as a dumb machine into the TV screen or the laptop screen is going to make you dumb and dumb and dumb, and you're not going to even know what is actually happening. Something known as subliminal perception. Now, where did this concept come from? Subliminal perception. There was an ad in 1956 in a movie called Picnic by William Holden and Kim Novak. This is a well-known research in the books of marketing that I studied when I was in Texas studying about 35 years ago, long time ago. So what they did was, imagine a big glass full of ice and Coca-Cola in there. Leave it there for a little while. So this was an experiment by Coca-Cola. Sorry, Coke people, but then again, yeah, this is what you laid down the foundations of the mass production of subliminal perception, which went into controlling people's minds through subliminal unconscious messages. So they took a picture of this nice glass full of ice, little bit of bubbles coming up. Can you visualize? Sorry, I'm sorry, those of you who are fasting, that I'm making you visualize this glass. All right. So when you visualize this glass, they took a very nice picture of this. And the movie that was running, the movie, like, in the olden days, it used to be a reel, and then one frame, 24 frames per second, 24 frames per second. So the individual mind, an individual eye, naked eye, cannot catch the individual single frame, but the subconscious mind catches it. So if 24 frames in 1 second passes through your eyes, you will not be able to see if a changed picture in that frame just took place, but your subconscious mind, woof, catches it. You don't know that it caught it. 50 to 60% of the sales of Coca-Cola in that theater went up. They tried the same thing with popcorns. And they came out back in the 1950s. They came out
saying that it was a breakthrough.
It was a breakthrough in the way the human mind works. Now, a lot of people, were intrigued and sort of and then some people started objecting. This is a manipulation of the human mind. This should be banned. So there were Supreme Court cases in the US at that time. And then the Supreme Court banned it. Still to this day, subliminal messages in ads or in movies are banned officially. But do you think people who are spending billions and billions of dollars on advertising and mass communication in promoting their products and services, would they give up on this? Would you give up on this research? Would you give up on this research if you were behind in the board of directors sitting somewhere and trying to increase the sales with regards to the competitor activities? Wouldn't you want your sales to go up higher? It's all a commercial game. It's all a commercial game. So subliminal messages which are being passed on to us in our subconscious mind are the ones which are actually controlling us, which is why we go into depression, which is why we feel like impasse or a deadlock and we don't know what to do. So much so, Zaufi and I have been conducting trainings and in-house interventions for thousands and thousands of people in the last 24 years cross-culturally, as I mentioned, in 46 countries. And now we are back in Pakistan after 18 years being in Dubai. So many people, we ask them, do you have any dreams in life? And they say, no, I don't know what to dream about. Why? Don't you have a mind of your own? Don't you have a desire that you want to achieve? Yes, I have some. Yes, you're right, they have some. But then again, those are not their own dreams. Those have been injected. Being physically fit, being size 0, looking like Brad Pitt, or having Angelina Jolie lips, or having some kind of other. So everybody has a low self-confidence. Why? Because the image that has been built of how a perfect human being needs to be is totally distorted. It really doesn't matter whether the person is fat or is ugly or single. It's all definition, man. What really matters is whether the person is feeling good on the inside and the person is doing good for other people around him, which is called Hukukul Ibad. So what we need to do, we need to develop those strategies to develop ourselves more and more and more. All right. Thank you, Ahmed Omar, for joining us. A lot of people are joining us here. Ahmed Omar from Zong. He's a Zong cheetah. He's attended our training programs and he says, glad to be joining over here. Riaz Chunara Saab from Nibaf, the State Bank of Pakistan, is also here. So we have some good audience right now. So there are 3 stations going on 2 laptops and then 1 live from my Facebook. So hello guys, and hopefully that this will be of benefit to you. In a little while, I'm going to share with you some suggestions and some strategies that we need to follow in a lockdown situation to come out alive and kicking after this is over. This will be over sooner or later.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. Remember this, huh? You know this. This too shall pass. In fact, I have a new version to this, a little modified version. This too is passing. So repeat in your mind, this too is passing, or this too shall pass. This is a good message. Don't be bogged down because of the fears and and the unexpected things to go on. Think like a growth mindset. Don't think like a fixed mindset. Okay, the situation around us have changed. Sometimes shit happens, and shit happened. What are you doing about it? Are you going to be sulking as a victim? Why me, God again syndrome? Or are you going to take charge and take the reins of your horse, the horse being the journey of life, and then correct yourself? Here we are in this situation. What are we going to do later? Are we going to just wait and see as to, okay, how things unfold, and then we decide our plan of action? It might be too late by then for you, because you'll already be in a situation in which you can't control situations anymore. Well, you can't control situations anymore anyways. But what you can control is yourself, your relationships, your health. Your health is number one. Yeah. So if you focus on your own health, you focus on your mental well-being. This is a time to reflect. Time to reflect about decade by decade. Examine your life. You never got this time, me time before. Me time. Me time. What is me time? Me time is not with the phone. Me time is not with you talking on the phone to somebody. Me time is not about gossiping with somebody about something. Me time is not watching any TV shows. Me time is not even reading a book. Me time is spending time with yourself, reflecting back, examining the events of your life, the good events and the bad events of your life, why it happened, shouldn't have happened, what lesson have you learned, how did it make you stronger? So decade by decade, when you were first 10 years of your life, all right, I was a little baby, I was born in this house, this is my neighborhood, my parents. Imagine yourself lying in a cot and your parents are looking down on you with a smile on their face and they're happy, and beta hamara aisa kaam karega, papa kehte hain bada kaam karega. So these sort of things, and then you learned how to walk, you learned how to talk, you were so curious about everything, you had to poke your finger in everything, you had to bite everything, you had to taste everything, you were mindful, you were in the moment, you were not thinking about some memories or something or the other. The funny part about growing old is that over a period of time, the more experiences you lead, the more memory overload takes place. Now, there's something, a new term that I learned yesterday from the book Sapiens. Let me just share with you this book, and I would strongly recommend you reading this book also, Sapiens. Yeah, can you see Sapiens? Can you see Sapiens? Yeah. So Sapiens by Yuval Harari. This is a beautiful, beautiful. It's a bit thick, but then again, you start it, you will not be able to stop. Why? Because it is such an interesting way, the way we have all nurtured ourselves from nomads and foragers into the scientific age that we are in. And the new challenges are AI. Never before in the history of mankind have we faced a challenge which actually takes the organic life away. AI is going to take that away. Biological chips being planted in you, becoming superhuman, X-Men arriving soon, things like these are going to start happening. So where do we go? So how do we cultivate? And then again, we are if I'm always focusing on things which are not in my control and trying to focus on things and hoping, oh God, please make sure that the coronavirus or other things are getting better and better. And so, of course, we need to pray and we need to have that faith that a higher being or a higher power is actually having some kind of influence. But this could also be a lesson for all of us to evolve and come out of this alive much more. Not very many people are going to come out of this alive, by the way.
And not dead because of corona. It's not that. The thing is that a new kind of skill set will be required after this lockdown situation is over. It's very easy to say. I know a lot of we get a lot of questions on this particular aspect as well, that what will the job situation be after this lockdown and everything finishes, or how long is it going to last? So people have this fear, but just staying in that fear is not going to help at all. Try to see what new skill set, what other capacity building things that you can do for your own self, so that you're not just dependent on a particular job. I mean, I say, when Haseeb was talking about the dreams, if you don't have a dream till now is the time to dream. What are you going to do about it? I think unnecessary fear of losing a job is also paralyzing a few people, but we need to think ahead as well. If we keep thinking about, oh, this is the current situation, these many people dead throughout the world, lockdown in 7th week already, blah, 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 then we will stay in the fear zone. Growth zone means, as Haseeb said, by starting with self-reflection, but not letting the past determine the future either. The thing is that do some self-reflection, then be also mindful of the moment now, and for the future, try to learn new things. I got questions from some of my friends in Canada. They were saying that what is growth and learning? What kind of a learning can happen? Well, you're becoming aware of your own emotions. What is happening in the homes? There is high strung emotions. People are now forced to be in each other's company 24/7, whether it's spouses, whether it's siblings, whether it's parents, etc. Don't you realize that you are finally finding out how you react to certain situations, how your emotions take over? So this is a very good place to start as a self-reflection, as a growth. And now is the time to see that how you can build upon your personality even further. I know you're working from home. Some people say, I don't even get time at home because I'm locked up in a room working. Agreed, but find time. Now, at least you don't have the commuting time. You get breaks in between. Try to think of how you can bring about more growth and learning within your personality. I have identified 4 areas that can happen. One is your physical, which Haseeb will talk about, exercise, yoga, etc. The second is emotional and psychological. I've put them both together because these days it's all enmeshed, and we don't know where emotions finish and our psyche begins. The third is, of course, intellectual. And fourth can be about time to be a bit more spiritual. And by spiritual, I mean that it's not just following the religion, but spiritual is also meditating, going deep into your subconscious.
Yeah, the spiritual journey is not an external journey. The spiritual journey is an internal journey. And this, unfortunately, most people don't understand. This is why they are searching for meaning outside themselves. So your self-reflection, your knowing yourself more, this is the time for you to start spending some time internally speaking. Analyze the memories. Play a what-if scenario in your mind. What if I had not gone to Texas to study? What if I had not joined Pakistan Tobacco as my job? I'm talking about myself. What if you had not, studied? What if you were not born in the house you were born in? What if you did not have the parents you have? What if you did not have the siblings? What if you did not have the life companion you did not? Or what if you did not have the children? So all these things, or what if you not traveled to a certain place in your life? What if you had not gone through a certain experience in your life? So there have been turning points in your life. Your decisions and your choices have brought you where you are today. Reflect on them. So like I said, the first decade, from 1 year, from 0 to 10 years, all right? Then from 11 to 20, you came into adolescence. From a boy or a little girl, you became a lady, or you became a boy and a man, and then you developed some wings to fly, and you became more independent. When you became more independent, you became a little bit more, your teenage life, you're a little bit rebellious against the order of things because you didn't like being told what to do. Some of us still carry those rebellious spirits, including myself and some of the people that I know. And then sort of like, and then the gateway to your professional growth started more towards the end of your graduation time. And then you chose to go into a major, or you chose to go into some kind of studies or to an institution. What if you had not gone to the institution or the university that you went to? What if you had gone to some other university? What kind of a life would you have? What kind of a life would you have if you did not have the friends you met in the university today, at that time? So a little bit of self, and then you graduated. Remember your graduation day. Remember how happy that day was, because you just came out of the assembly line, sorry to say. But yeah, so what is the assembly line? Okay, so graduation, now is the time to start sending CVs to people. And how many people send CVs to a lot of people? Those of you who are already working or or at least my age, close to retirement or whatever it might be. Well, I'm not close to retirement. I'm only 61 yet, buddy. So yeah, that's why I'm keeping myself physically fit so I can go on for a longer period of time. So yeah, I may or may not, but this is not in my control. But I have to make some choices and efforts in which I can assume that I'm going to go still longer. If I give up hope that I'm not going to survive for a year or 2 years because, my father had a heart attack or my mother had cancer or somebody else had this, and I put all these phobias into my own mind, like Hakeem Lukman said, कि हर चीज का इलाज है लेकिन वहम का इलाज नहीं है. तो वहम हमने अपने ऊपर तारी किए हुए हैं. Those are virtual fears. Those are not actual fears. Most of us live in virtual fears that never actually happen. But we waste our lives. After that fearful event is over, and then we say, oh yeah, मैं भी खाम खा घबरा रहा था. Why was I so worried about something? It never happened. So yeah, what if you survive this? What if you come out alive with this? But what if you're not ready with the new skill set to survive in the new order of things, which is actually shaping up? Now, when we say new order of things, what does it mean? We don't know. Nobody knows. What is it going to be? Yeah, there might be some people who are manipulating the system. Maybe they know what the consequences are. But then again, the average human being like us, we don't know. So then, where does that leave us in terms of the external environment? Come back to your own locus of control. What is the one thing that you need to focus on? Focus on the one thing. What is the one thing that you need to focus on? What is the two things you need to focus on? What is the three things you need to focus on? And stick to those. Don't go haywire. Don't go haywire. That this हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. अबे यार, come on. Focus on the areas you can control. Focus on the areas that you can influence. And don't focus on the areas that you cannot influence. All right? So yeah. So the third decade is your 20s. Now you graduate and you send your CVs and you sort of apply for a job and you feel a sense of contribution. You started making money. All right. You are the junior most in the assembly line, but you start producing. So if you were in finance, like I was in finance, I went into finance. Pakistan Tobacco was my first job, BAT, British American Tobacco. 6 years with them. I'm glad I was there. Laid the foundation, got some very good colleagues, good mentors, good coaches who are still there in my life right now. And then got married, children started coming in, so that the whole dimension changes. Self-reflection. What if you had not gotten married? There were two paths you had, right? What if you had not gotten married? Where would your life be? Part of your self-examination. I mean, I'm happy that it happened. I'm very happy. But what if it did? So this what if scenario is important in your own self-reflection mind as to where life could have led you, the circumstances, how they shaped up, and how you adjusted yourself according to the situation.
Haseeb,
you did very well at that time, Ji.
I'm sorry, but some people, they just dwell in the past. So there has to be a cutoff point. Okay, so you were born to your parents. You didn't choose that. You didn't choose your children. All right. You didn't choose your circumstances. You didn't choose the city you were born in, right? It can be a part of self-reflection, but not as an anchor, which is just dragging you down with the baggage. That's just, I wanted to.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I mean, that's a victim mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a victim mentality. Why me, God? Ye mere saath hi kyun hota hai aise? Why does it happen to me all the time like this? Why are some people so lucky that they are born in a billionaire's house? They are not lucky.
Yeah.
They are the most unfortunate people because their life is very claustrophobic. Imagine living in a castle. The queen or the king or the king's children or the queen's children. Do you think they have a free life? They can't even, or the celebrities for that matter. They can't even go out in public without being harassed by the public. The paparazzis and so on and so forth and blah, blah, blah. So they don't have a free life. So, ek dua ye bhi karni chahiye कि I wish I don't become too famous that I can't even go out and I lose my freedom. At least you have the freedom to roam around being anonymous, because because your picture is not on the magazines, you are not on the GQ, you are not on the Fortune 500 and so on and so forth. It's a blessing in disguise to be a simple human being. Because at the end of your life, I meet so many people at CEO level, entrepreneur levels, and so on and so forth. And I also meet people who are totally uneducated, illiterate, but very wise people. Those people don't live in the cities, unfortunately, or some of them do, but they are mostly in isolation. They prefer not to be in public. Why? Because वो खरबूजे को देख के खरबूजा रंग पकड़ता है, and we do absorb other people's emotions, and it's better to be not with other people than to be with the wrong people. So imagine for yourself to be by yourself and doing your self-reflection. Then come in your 30s, see the growth that you made, see the changes that you made. Come in your 40s, reflect on every decade. If you are in the 50s, look back at your life and say, hey man, I've gained some good experiences. Now I need to move forward. What have I learned so far? If you're in your 60s, I'm in my 60s. I just turned 61 last year. I'm 61 now. Yeah, I married a young girl. So, she married an old guy. Let's put it this way. Otherwise, my daughters will say that's a very misogynist remark to make. And I'm trying my best to sort of like unlearn my Lahori Shoda style in which I grew up in and so on and so forth. No harm meant to the female gender. But then again, some things are culturally driven into your personalities, and we need to become more aware as to what is my culture putting into my mind about the concepts of reality and facts of life and so on and so forth. Those can be distorted according to the influences that I have received in my life. And I've received many wrong influences. The culture. So the cultural influences are, somebody asked the fish, what do you think about the water? What do you think the fish replied? Somebody asked the fish, what do you think about the water? What do you think the fish replied? What water? Our culture is like this. The way it has actually influenced us. We take it for granted so much that we cannot see the influences, because this is what we saw from when we were little children, and we got influenced because of this. Now, Zaufi is a master's in psychology, and so she understands this, and this is where I've learned from. And my biggest teacher is my own life companion, and my biggest support, the true companion behind me, and in front of me now, and then fully in charge, and I'm in the back seat now. Yeah. But yeah, that the basic personality is formed by the time you're about 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. That 80 to 90% of the mold of your character is developed. Your fears get ingrained, your ambitions get ingrained, your likes and dislikes, the concept of pleasure, the concept of pain. All these sort of things get defined by our own minds at that time. When we grow up older, either the happenings are a reinforcement to the pain principle or the pleasure principle. Look it up, the pleasure principle. What is the pleasure principle? What is the pain principle? The pain principle is the engrams. What are those? Time for self-reflection. The painful events of your past, the incidents that gave you immense pain, whether it was a beating by a father or a mother, or a fight with somebody, or you fell down and it gave you a lot of pain, or the first time your best friend deserted you, or stabbed you in the back, or lied to you, whatever, you were emotionally shaken up. That left a very important mark on your personality. Now, it's not easy to let those go. Most people carry them to their graves. Something known as engrams in the field of Scientology or in the field of Dianetics. Eckhart Tolle, in his book, The Power of Now and also A New Earth, calls it pain bodies. What are those pain bodies? Something that gave you pain when you were a kid. Now, how to resolve those? Well, by going into those memory lanes. In your examination of your self-reflection, you go back into your memory lanes and objectively view the incident as if you were an observer, not a target or a victim to those circumstances. And then don't play victim over there. Don't entangle yourself emotionally with that incident. Detach yourself. That incident is long gone. It's not there anymore. Why are you carrying it in your mind, at the back of your mind, and this becomes the driving force behind the subconsciousness of your character and the things you do today. So resolving those unresolved issues of your mind, this is a perfect time to do so, because you have some self-reflection time. And many people have their own timeouts from their families within their own rooms, or they go out on walks, or they go cycling. And so many people have started doing physical exercise, which is very good now, because they're realizing this is an important area to focus on. But some people will still choose to sit on their very comfortable sofas or lie down in their bed and watch TV and have a remote control, click, 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 click. Their whole life is a click away. So yeah, read some good books.
Just may I?
Yeah.
Hina, you said that you are overcome by virus fear and your sleep is affected. So that's exactly what Haseeb was talking about right now, that exercise. And as I was sharing with earlier, that there are the hormones within your body which fear is generating, which is adrenaline and cortisol. To get rid of those particular chemicals which are surging in your body, you need to exercise to counter it with endorphins and dopamine. And that can only happen when you exercise. You exercise, you let go, you sweat it out, you get rid of the negative hormones and ingest more of the positive hormones in your body. Your sleep will get better as well with that.
The thing is, this is a sign of we all get trapped into the dilemmas that we are facing or the problems that we have in our mind, and then the human mind is always trying to focus on the solutions to things. What is the solution? So we have not learned how to live with uncertainty. We are always trying to play God. Sometimes I do too, and my daughters get angry at that. Dad, you're not God. Why are you controlling things? And which is actually right. But in my own fear and in my own dilemmas, one tries to take precautions about things, and preventive maintenance becomes strong. But worrying, depression is energy. If I'm not leaking out this energy, and if it's suppressed within my own personality, what is going to happen? It's going to leak out in some worried problem in my mind. Hence, lack of sleep. Hence, lack of happiness. Hence, lack of emotional well-being. So I get trapped into this. Before sleeping, just focus on some solutions. Before sleeping or before, do some daily walks or do some cardio for sure. Naak se breathing badi zaruri hai. Let go, take a deep breath. When you lie down on the bed, your mind will immediately go into the problem. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And some people have the phobia of falling sick anyways. Get over this fear. You're not going to fall sick. You're not going to die. Get this in your head. You're not going to die. Nothing is going to happen to you. You're just being afraid for the sake of being afraid. Why? Because everybody else is afraid. So that's their problem, not your problem. Alhamdulillah, you have good genes. You have good healing powers. So no problem. So when you can't sleep at night, focus on the breath. Bring your attention to your breathing and just focus mindfully a few times. My mind will keep going back because it's a monkey brain. It's an untrained mind. It'll keep going back. Maybe at the end of the discussion, I'll have a guided meditation for a few minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, just to sort of help people do. If anybody would like me to do a little bit of guided meditation, how to switch off your monkey brain and untrained mind and focus in the moment and mindful, how to control that river of thoughts that is actually happening, and I can focus on that. Please do comment if you really want me to sort of in the next half an hour that we'll be finishing, that I can actually talk about this too. Yeah. All right. Good deal. So then, yeah. So self-reflection time. Also, divert your attention towards something more beneficial and useful that add value to yourself. When was the last time you increased your input? I mean, after we graduated and we started working, we are always sort of output, output, output. When did the input take place? Where you are today is because of the input you gave yourself many years ago. Where you will be from now onwards will all depend on the input of this time. So physical exercise is extremely essential. And then so do some cardio, do some stretches, or even the neck. Learn basic yoga. Type on YouTube, basic yoga lesson for beginners. basic meditation lesson for beginners. These are the two main advices I'm sort of like sharing with you, because sitting at home, you don't have to go out to a gym. You don't have to have you don't have access to a swimming pool. You don't have access to a squash court or a tennis court or a cricket field or a football field, but you do have access to your own room and a yoga mat or even on a carpet, and just sit down on it and sort of like do some reflective thinking and just focus on the breath, and then focus on the stretch in which you are in, and you are stretching yourself, you're stretching yourself. Your mind will not be anywhere else, but you are going into this. Also, something known as progressive relaxation. It is you tense up your muscle and you let go. You tense up your muscle and you let go. Every part of your body, focus at night, like, or in the morning. That will sort of like make you internally strong. Your muscles also internally strong. So this is just to answer the question that like by what's the name? Hina. Yeah. So Hina, I hope that this answers your question, which you posted just now. All right. So physical exercise is essential. Very, very important. I wrote down some strategies. Can I just share those strategies that I wrote down? Yeah.
Sure.
I have them right here.
Yeah. While you're looking for that, I'd like to share one thing, that having a routine in this time is very, very important. That is the only thing which we have been used to for quite a few years. So wake up at the time. I mean, apart from the fact that it's Ramadan, wake up at the time that you usually do, whether you to go to an educational institute or to go to office or for whatever. Get dressed. Try to have a very, very normal routine. That gives you a sense of achievement. Otherwise, you say, what am I doing over here? So having a routine, and within that routine, as Haseeb was saying, exercise is very, very important as well. So I'll leave it to you, Haseeb.
No, that's okay. Yeah. So that's fine. So that's why she kicks me out of the bed at 8 o'clock in the morning. She says, okay, get up, Haseeb, go to work. I mean, this is not a quarantine situation. For us, the life never changes, because this is how we were conducting our business in the last, 24 years? Yeah. I mean, we were operating from, majority of the time we were operating from home. We used to conduct our training programs in 5-star hotels or on the client's premises while traveling to different cities and so on and so forth. But then again, our basic life was that when we were in Dubai for 18 years, we sort of like used to get up. I mean, we had an office space, but I hardly used to go to the office. Why? Because what's the point? Everything was happening online. The marketing and so on and so forth was happening online. And our actual physical training used to take place in hotels and everything also. So there was no point for us to be going. So this is nothing new for us. So we sort of like have been accustomed to this life of working from home. And this was in the trend, in the pipeline, that's going to be happening. But we didn't know that it's going to be happening too soon. A lot of people are going to be losing their jobs, and a lot of people are going to be starting operating from their homes now onwards. And a lot of people will have to recreate themselves into a new dimension, acquire new skill sets, and so on and so forth. So about a few strategies that are developed, like, for one of our training programs that we're conducting for another organization. And then I'll just share those with you also, because this is very important. So daily physical exercise, number 1. Some kind of stretching, some kind of cardio. Now, this is not a theoretical suggestion. This is a practical suggestion. And even if you do a little bit every day, if nothing else, have some place where you can hang. So the shoulders exercise is very important. Or do some kind of exercise. Like, everybody, please do this. Don't just look. Yeah. So like example, a little bit of exercise like this one. A little bit of exercise. So yeah, put your arms together. Nobody can see you. You can do anything you want. You're not on camera. All right. Bring them up. Circular movements. Back. Yeah. So breathe. Breathe in from the nose and breathe out from the nose. Or right now in Corona times, breathe in from the nose and breathe out from the mouth. All right. So a few circular movements like this one will take the stress off the shoulders. Majority of the stress that we have is on the shoulders. So both sides, one side and the other side. All right. Simple exercise like this one. What is this doing? You are in the moment. You're not thinking of any problem right now. But as soon as I say you're not thinking of any problem, your mind goes to the problem. That's how your mind functions. All right. So you can very easily divert your attention into anything you want to. If you want to zoom in into something, you will keep on zooming into something. But if you want to come out of it, you can divert your mind. You have that power. This is what makes you Ashraful Makhlukat. You're not just a slave of your desires. You're not just a slave of your instincts. That's at the physical level. But then again, you also have a metaphysical level, and you can actually choose in the moment, in every moment, to go back to a problem. The problems in your mind are so big. You don't know what to do. They become demons, and they will manipulate you. Every time you're trying to ignore them, they will come back stronger on you. That's how your mind works. But you have the power to change your mind and start making fun of the whole situation. The next point is laugh every day. You have to have some kind of a laughing routine. Can you laugh out loud right now? Nobody's listening. Nobody's watching. Just laugh. Nobody's going to think you crazy. All right. Well, we all are crazy. Anybody who says I'm not crazy is the biggest, craziest person. So laugh out loud, even if you are faking it. Remember the fake it until you, the Fiomi principle. Fake it until you make it. All right. So laugh a lot. Laugh with people. In fact, in my training workshops and everything, also I've started making suggestions to a lot of people who become very serious over a period of time. And then, hello, bongiya mare. You know what bongiya is? I don't know how to explain bongiya in English. Bongiya, Zofi, how would you explain bongiya in English? Just ridiculous, silly jokes, meaningless jokes, just something that makes you laugh. It doesn't matter whether other people laugh at you or not. Really, seriously, it doesn't matter. I mean, stop trying to please other people and start pleasing yourself into small little bongiya. So bring bongiya into your life. This will counter the depressive feelings, and you are channelizing your energy. When you are laughing, your lungs are opening up. You are laughing from your stomach, and that takes away a lot of pent-up energy from you. This is therapeutic. Number 3 is count your blessings. What are you grateful for? So after this session is over, I would suggest take a piece of paper, write down, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I am grateful for. Keep writing the things that you are grateful for. That will bring your focus onto the things that you appreciate in life rather than the fears or what you don't have in life. This is extremely important. Number 4, minimize your TV programs, news, talk shows, expert talks. There is no expert out there. It's all bullshitters. Nobody's an expert of anything. They pretend to be. PhDs, specialization, well-done research. All this crap and bullshit is just to gain popularity or to make money or to control people or to influence people. Yes, you are also an expert. You're also a specialist. Depending on whether you sort of like do your own research, go back into history books, go back into Wikipedia, go back into watching nice factual documentaries. CuriosityStream.com. CuriosityStream.com. Please write this down. CuriosityStream.com is a web portal. It's a Netflix of documentaries. I think it charges about $20 a year. My son Hamza from Vancouver gifted it to me on my 61st birthday. And if I watch something on my laptop, it is only CuriosityStream.com. Or sometimes I watch movies with romantic or comedy movies with Zaufy and so on and so forth. But never horror movies, never thrillers, never those intense, negative kind of feelings. Because already there is fears going on inside you. Why do you want to create more fearful situations? Because what you watch becomes a reality in your own mind. Be careful what you watch. You think it doesn't have an influence on you? Anything that you are watching is having an influence on you. Just like you are listening to my voice right now, and the conviction behind what I have and what I'm saying to you is also catching on to you. All right? So when you see people depressive, when you see people doing frauds, when you see people lying to each other, when you see people all sorts of talk shows, and because people get intense, the next episode, what really happened? Did he leave her or did he leave him? Or what happened between them? Oh, I can't wait to see the next episode. Sheep mentality. That's how they're being manipulated. All right. Number 5, develop reading habits other than your own work, your self-development stuff. Read good books. If you have not read The Alchemist, I'm sure a lot of people have. I mean, I'm recommending a basic book, yeah? The Alchemist will get you back into the habit of reading. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. All right, remember? The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. That's a good one. Sapiens is a good book. Laws of Human Nature by the same writer as 48 Laws of Power. Very, very good book. You will learn more about your own self and the human behavior and so on and so forth. So a lot of Homo Deus and then 21 Lessons of the 21st Century. These are all good quality works. Yeah. Watch nice documentaries. Watch motivational videos like Denzel Washington talking about something, or Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about something, or Sylvester Stallone talking about something. You like these people, listen to them. They are making sense also. They're not talking about politics. They're not talking about anything. They're talking about human growth and self-development. Those sort of things. You want to say something?
I was just going to say that I was talking about a few zones that you can have learning, growth and learning. So what Haseeb is recommending by reading books, that is your intellectual zone. Growth and learning in the intellectual zone. You read books on self-development. You can read, actually, other than newspaper, whatever you're going to read is going to have an impact on your vocabulary, on your communication skills. So the main thing is that you read something to enrich your mind, which is why. And documentaries that he was recommending, Curiosity Stream, over that also, it also stimulates the neurons in our brain, which have been, we've put them to sleep by not doing that. Haseeb, there was one question before you go on your list.
Yeah.
That how is this a time to find out what your passion in life is, what your dreams are? Salman was asking.
All right, Salman, good question, man. There'll be an effort that you'll have to put in. My suggestion, practical tip for you, and I learned this from a very good friend who was a dream coach. Her name is Marinma. She's in Netherlands, Holland right now, Spanish. And I met her in Fiji back in 2011 when I went to attend Tony Robbins' seminar there in Fiji. And then she asked me, I said, I want to identify my dreams also. Like, I have so many dreams in my life, or I have so many wishes, desires in my life. I don't know what to do. She said, okay, let's have a Skype session. So this is many, many years ago. I think it was about 2013 or so. And she asked me to write down my top 10 or top 15 wishes or my dreams that I wanted achieved, something known as the bucket list. What is the bucket list? Bucket list ke movie bhi hai na? Watch this movie called The Bucket List. There's also a very interesting comedy movie by Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. So that's a good movie to watch. So I listed down about 15 of my wishes, and she had this software on which she kept asking me questions between this wish or this dream and this dream, which would you choose? And I would think about it and I would say, if it's a comparison of these two, I will drop this one and I will choose this one. All right. And then she would again ask for another dream. And then slowly put she sort of like put all my dreams in comparison to each other, and then slowly shortlisting my dreams. And then that came out as the top 5 dreams that I had from all those lists of 15. And then between those 5, she also sort of like asking me, what are the different, in comparison. So this way I was able to find out what my number 1 passion was, what my number 2 passion was in order of priority, and what my number 3 passion was, and so on and so forth. So this is what made me realize that my dreams, my actual wish was not about myself only, but it was beyond myself for other people, for helping Mother Earth, for helping anybody who needed help. So this is what was the driving force between Zofi and I to be the impetus or the acceleration behind what we are doing right now, is by helping people to improve their or live a better life. So for you to find out your dreams, Salman, make a dream collage. A dream collage is a collection of pictures. So collect pictures because your mind thinks in pictures. So just do this exercise. We recently asked this company's people who paid us a lot of money, to motivate their high performers in their senior management teams. And then sort of like we asked them to make a small 2-minute presentation on the dream collages that they were supposed to make. So they made their dream collages one evening, and then the next day they made a presentation. And I asked them, how was the experience? And they said, these things were at the back of our mind, but bringing them on paper and having a visual impact was much more important and critical for us at this stage. And it really has brought out that internal energy from us. There are no right and wrong dreams. There are only dreams. So focus on what you would like to do in this lifetime before this life is over, and it will be over someday. And you will be on your deathbed sooner or later, and you'll be looking back at your life. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done this. What are those wishes that you may regret in the future? Let this be the driving force behind the dreams you have right now. So just to answer your question, make a dream collage, send it to us, to Zofi and I, and we can have a discussion on this also. But be careful about contradictory dreams. What are contradictory dreams? Contradictory dreams is one pulls you away from the other. Example, I might have a dream of being promoted to the next level in my organization, or I might have a dream of starting my own business one day. Now I see them as contradictory dreams, that the pursuit of one is going to take me away from the other. So decide between these two, what would you choose, a promotion or your own business? And then stick to that focus plan. So the roadmap comes by doing a comparison, by taking a weighing scale, और एक तराजू अपने दिमाग में रख लिया करें अपने आप को evaluate करने के लिए कि what is more important for you. And that importance within your own mind will be the guiding force towards the finding of your own dreams in life. Purpose in life, don't focus on too much on the purpose of life, because the purpose of life is a myth. You cannot have a purpose of life. Oh, there are some people like Quaid-e-Azam or Gandhi or Mandela or Sister Teresa who set their plans towards their purpose of life and they devote their entire lives to that. But I'm talking to a common man here. The common man will have a good life if they only fulfill some of the wishes and some of the dreams that they have in their life. Now, if they compromise on those. So purpose of life, even let's say for those people who set themselves a purpose of life, got revealed as a hindsight, as an end result of their efforts that they're making. Maybe they did not start off making that effort. Example, somebody else like, Alexander the Great had a dream of sort of like conquering as much as possible. He didn't know that he was going to conquer so much. Genghis Khan didn't know he was going to conquer. It was only a step-by-step process. So purpose of life will only be revealed to you towards the end of your life or when you are on your deathbed and your whole life is flashing around your eyes. And then you say, what did I actually achieve? And it will only then become aware as to what was the actual purpose or that was beyond your own self that actually got revealed. All right? Cool. Good, Salman? All right. All right. Interesting session, Haseeb Sahab. Eloquence and all right. So yeah. So good comments. So some people are just sort of like appreciating. Next point is, watch documentaries that add value to your knowledge and wisdom. So like I said, curiositystream.com is a good platform. Cosmos series is very nice also. Like, the original one was by Carl Sagan back in the 70s. What a remarkable.
Yeah, it was indeed.
What an article, man. Carl Sagan. And the Star Trek days I'm talking about, but these are actually, so many of those predictions are coming true today also, yeah. And then there was a remake of that, Cosmos. So it tells you about the whole kainat, or the way, what we have discovered so far through the Hubble and other telescopes around the world and the pattern recognition. The pattern recognition skill that we humans have is the strongest that makes us different from other species on this earth. So utilize this strength, but pattern recognition minus your emotional brain. Because your emotional brain is going to become a barrier in your pattern recognition too. Another is, a very important suggestion, number 7, is download Headspace. Headspace is an app. Hamza, my son, Amal and Miral, they are my teachers in this, is an app. Now, normally they charge you money for it, but they want to encourage you because it's a CSR initiative by then. So if you do 3 to 5 minutes of meditation, of just focusing on your breath, taming your taming your mind, the monkey brain that is going on, उससे थोड़ी सी break तो ले, take a break for a little while. So headspace will give you that 3 to 5 minutes of break every day. And then do it as frequently as possible. So headspace is also good. All right. Actual me time is important every day. Non-stressful time. Don't think of any problem. Don't think of any worry. What is the point of standing in front of a musalla? Yeah, like, ek janamaz pe khade hoke, like, a mind is going there and here and here. वो नमाज तो नहीं हो रही है. So let's stop fooling ourselves कि हम लोग एक नमाज पढ़ रहे हैं, उसका हमें सवाब पहुंच रहा है. वो ठीक है, वो जो बॉडी लैंग्वेज के एक्शंस रिचुअल करने के हैं वो तो हो जाएगा, but the actual essence behind namaz is being in the presence of the omnipotent and being there at that time, and not just being lost in your worries and so on and so forth. It is a ritual for you to switch off from your daily routines and not to be more entangled and specializing into those thoughts. So switch off as much as possible. Self-reflection meditations, play with the what if this doesn't happen in your life, as I talked about before. And the next one is focus on your own locus of control. Don't waste your energy on things you cannot control or not even influence. Nurture daily activities like hobbies that you enjoy doing: cooking, gardening, walking, cycling, creating something new. My new passion as of the last few days is learning video editing. Photography was my hobby always in my life, and I am a good photographer. So why don't I use that strength to learn a new platform, to develop new content for people like yourselves? Do something like, so this video will also get converted into some kind of edit software, and I'm going to start experimenting on that. I got plenty of time to experiment. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to be anywhere. Nobody's waiting for me out there. Nobody's waiting for you either. So don't be anxious. So use this time for your own self-development growth. Nurture, so hobbies. Hobbies are, very, very important, that you sort of like gives you time to switch away from the problems that are out there. So in your own locus of control, you are bringing about something that is of interest to you, right, Zaufi? What are your hobbies?
My hobbies are gardening. I've started a compost bin as well. For the first time, I've never done that before. But I love to grow things. I've already started the seedlings to start a summer vegetable patch. I love to read. I've started a very thick book of my childhood, which was Adventures of Amir Hamza. So a few of the hobbies at the moment.
Yeah, that's
Put your
true.
feet down, it's coming in the way.
Is it coming in the way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, that's right. Okay. And then do something creative. When was the last time you created something? Something new. Something new. Not just copy paste from internet. Not just learn something from YouTube. Think of something. Think of an idea, no matter how small it is. Whether you make a aeroplane from a paper and just throw it out from your roof, or it could be anything, or make a ship on water, or whatever it might be. Just create something new, something that get excited, or get a toolbox, fix something in the house.
Well, I'm sure their spouses have been telling them to fix this and fix that, and nobody had time, so now's the time to fix the house as well.
Yeah, the plumber cannot come in, so you better clean the pot and the commode yourself. The electrician cannot come in. You better not, because they might be fixing the electricity situation, but they might bring in something that you don't want. So so learn how to fix these things. Wear your gloves and don't get electrocuted in the process. But learn this. You can do anything. Never say, oh, I don't know how to do this. Instead, change that dialogue internally within your own mind. Oh, I have not yet learned how to do this. So then fix yourself into this situation as to what you're going to be doing worthwhile. There's a question here by Munis Rana. What would you say about poets or people who write emotional content? Aha. Zaufi, this is your area.
Oh God. Dil to apna udas hai Nasir, sheher kyun sai karta hai. So very sensitive writers, sometimes they write something, but you don't have to read it at a time where already you're feeling low. It should not be a regular affair. If you balance it out with other upbeat kind of poetry or writings, etc., or about nature, it's good. Sometimes you enjoy reading, but we are in charge of our own motivation and of our own mental well-being. So we cannot say that, oh, somebody else should be doing that. So choose what you read, because your thoughts will become a reality. Your thoughts will have an impact on your attitude. So read them time to time, but also then read other things to balance it out.
I mean, example, like Zofi mentioned, so read Iqbal, upbeat poetry, picks you up.
Absolutely.
Mirza Ghalib will bring you down.
Bahadur Shah Zafar will bring you down.
Bahadur Shah Zafar will also bring you down. Why?
They're beautiful poetry, no doubt about that. But there are times to read it, and there are times to just stay away from those things.
Yeah, especially this time.
Yeah.
You don't need any more emotional, crying, depressive stuff. There's enough out there. So cultivate more input in your mind, which is of positive nature. So create more positive triggers rather than negative triggers, because every negative trigger is going to take you more into a depressive state. And then what is going to happen? Either you will resort to Lexotinals or the Xanaxes of this world, in which case you are escaping the actual activity because you're not physically exercising, and you are trying to depend on other people to tell you how you should be feeling better. How can somebody else tell you how to feel better if you don't know how to pick yourself up? If you have not learned up to now at this age, whatever age you're in, and where are you going to learn how to pick yourself up, man? This means we're still playing mummy daddy. Mummy daddy, okay, help me daddy, help me mama, mujhe ye ho gaya, mujhe ye ho gaya. Come on, yaar. When are you going to grow up?
When are you going to take charge? When are you going to feel responsible for your own life? Because, Haseeb was talking about victim mentality earlier. How to get out of victim mentality is to take responsibility for your actions. Let go of the past, or when it happened, but you take your responsibility that, okay, this happened. So now what can I do within my own locus of control?
Bravo, give me 5. Very good, yaar. Chocolate milti thi, sorry, Ramzan ke baad. All right. So do something creative, man. Seriously. If you have to find something creative, and then let us know what you were able to create. You could be writing something. Writing something also brings out your creativity.
Oh, journaling is a very good idea during this time.
Journaling. What is journaling?
You just write down whatever you're feeling. It's remember when we were young, we used to write down in a notebook, etc. But now, if you, in these times when therapy is not available to you, the therapy is right home within that journal, where you start writing about your feelings. Don't go to sleep, don't go to bed until you've written something in there. In the beginning, just write down whatever happened during the day. But as you get better at journaling, then you can post one question on the top, whatever has been bothering you, and then just keep writing, and not just a few lines. Then keep writing as much as possible, 3, 4, 5 pages about the question. If you come to a writer's block, just keep doodling until the flow comes back again.
Very good. Next point. Very well explained. So journaling is very important, yeah? So keep a journal, like a diary. Express yourself. Download. Offload.
Yeah.
The garbage. So there are many other ways of doing that also, by screaming out loud. But you can't scream out loud. Why? Because there are others watching and you are in a quarantine situation. People will say, he's gone crazy. Isko to 4 number bus mein bitha ke isko pagal khane bhijwa do. Lahore se agar koi hai to. Ya mental asylum mein bhejo usko, or send this guy to the mental hospital because he's going crazy. And so because he's screaming by himself. Nothing wrong in screaming, as long as you go up on your roof, or you go cycling, or you go driving somewhere outside the city and you scream out loud, because there's a lot of pent up energy. There's a lot of I went to Osho Meditation Center last year in Nepal, tapoban.com. Check it out when you come out of the quarantine situation. We used to get up every morning. I've attended a lot of training programs of different nature, because this is my own learning. And the more we learn ourselves, the more we can help other people like yourselves to sort of learn better and improve better also. So this is our growth mindset, to keep evolving and to keep learning new things. So every morning we used to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and about 150 people or 100 people, something like that. and then different nationalities. I think 30, 35 nationalities were there. And we used to go at about 7 o'clock in this large room overlooking the mountain with this 360 degrees windows. And then we used to scream at the loudest of our voices every day. Now, because everybody else was doing the same thing, so we didn't look awkward in screaming out loud. But you can't even scream in your own home. So, and that's a natural way of, that's why sometimes when you fight and you scream at somebody, you feel lighter. Why does that happen? Because that pent-up energy goes out. Why? Because you've not been exercising. You've not done anything creative. You're only trapped within your own mental blocks and your depressions and your worries. And you have fears about the future, or you have some worries, unresolved issues of the past. All these things, and plus many more, get combined into, and there is toxins within the body. What we eat, the oils we eat, the breads we eat, the sugars and the salts and so many other things, and the GMO that we are consuming. Thank God we're not consuming fast foods right now. But the fast food is going to boom as soon as the quarantine is going to over. So what's going to happen? The health is going to take another dive once again. So stay away after the quarantine is over by these fast, but you can't stop the kids. अच्छा चलो आज KFC कर लेते हैं. अच्छा चलो आज McDonald's कर लेते हैं. These guys are going to hate me for this, yeah? But so many other things. All this is bullshit food. This is not even food. This is all plastic. You leave it outside, even the ants don't want to go eat this food. If a nature's ant doesn't want to eat this food, and we are consuming that food, imagine what it is doing to our digestive system, and what it is doing to our colons, and what it is doing to our mental well-being, and so on and so forth. So this pent-up energy has to be released somewhere. So you need to have a circulation mechanism. By sitting and watching TV and glued to the screens, you're not going to be able to do so. Right now, you're watching this right now, right? Okay. So what exercise are you doing? You're just watching. You're just being an observer. So you're not active. This is not an activity. This is just, okay, well, let this be the impetus or the trigger for that activity. But how many times do you watch programs like this that actually give you that motivation to move? Most of the shows that you're going to be watching, it doesn't propel you into action. It propels you further into inaction. So haraka baraka, forget it. So you have to go into this sort of a thing, yeah? Next point is my 13th point is sleep extra every day these days. Some people say, I only need 6 hours sleep. I only need 5 hours sleep. I only need 4 hours sleep. Number one, as you grow older, you need more sleep. Number one. And number two, if you are stressed out, you need to sleep it over more. Because the waking hours, you're going to be stressed out anyways, because you don't have any control over your mind. So it's better to be switched off than to be switched on into something negative. And then make up. Because most people are burnt out. In that burnt out state, a burnt out person doesn't know that he or she is burnt out. A burnt out person will always look at other people being burnt out when they lose emotional control, but they can never see themselves because they don't see themselves as a bird eye view or a helicopter view or a macro view. They cannot see themselves objectively speaking. They can only see themselves from their own self subjectively speaking with their emotions linked to it. They cannot detach themselves and take themselves above their head even higher, and see what kind of a maze I am stuck in right now. So sleep extra every day. Like I require 8 to 9 to 10 hours even at times, sort of like, but I'm 61. And I do sort of like, sleeping time is not time wasted. This is such a wrong concept. Itna galat concept hai ye, कि when you are sleeping, you're wasting your time. No, man. You are healing at that time.
Your immune system becomes stronger. It's a healing time. So it's an anabolic state, actually.
Yeah. And secondly, your breathing is taking place at a natural pace, which is why we snore and so on and so forth. So deep breathing is also taking place, and that breathing is also helping us. When we are in our waking time, because we are stressed out, we go into shallow breathing. When we go into shallow breathing, our body suffers, more ailments come in. 70% of the toxins in your body get released through breathing and breathing alone. The rest through sweating and through urine and through other disposables. But then again, 70% through your breathing. So do some deep breathing techniques. So type in on YouTube basic breathing techniques also. So basic yoga, basic meditation, basic breathing. These are the 3 tools you need right now in your life for a better future. For sure. This is not theoretical. We do this ourselves, which is why we sort of like giving you this advice. Number 14. Call your friends or your acquaintances that you have not been in connected with for a very long time. Could be your college friends, could be your ex-neighbors, could be somebody you grew up with. Catch up with them. Yeah, I was thinking about you, and like in this quarantine situation has made me reflect back on the times that we were together, and I cherish the time that we were together, and I miss those times when we used to go out and play, or we could go cycling, or we went swimming, or we went to that vacation resort, or we traveled together, whatever that might be. But or we used to hang out together, or we used to be in the class. Remember the time this happened? Remember the time that happened? So bring about this joy in you of staying closer to the friends globally right now. So this has helped me, example, to be in touch with my Texan friends, friends from Dubai, friends from Egypt, friends from Mauritius, friends from Fiji, friends from Australia, friends from Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, all these sort of like, I can go on and on. Every day we make sure that we reach out to somebody. Either we have a WhatsApp call or a messenger call or a Zoom call, and we connect with them, and we divert our attention from that corona shit going out here into something more of a happy memories lanes. So this brings out the happiness in us that, hey, life is also not just about being depressed, but also happy moments, right? So, okay. Next point is that remember that it's not over until it's over. Many people feel that, hey, I am now 40, 50, 60 years old, so life is over for me. My time is over. And my point here is, it ain't over until it's over. So you carry on with the effort, bring in that rejuvenation, bring in that internal motivation stronger. That motivation alone to do something higher, to do something better, to do something more, bring those dreams back. So, example, you want to go out after this is over to do some more physical thingy. Some people said before this quarantine situation, and so many, that I don't get time for exercise. Now they have time for exercise and they say, oh, I can't go to the gym, or I can't go to the football field, or I can't go play cricket, whatever it might be. So they're always full of excuses. Those people will always be full of. So either you are full of excuses about not exercising, or you are exercising. There is no middle path here. Oh, I have an aches and pain. Oh, I'm not feeling well. Or I haven't done exercise for a long time, and so on and so forth. And then one guy in our last training program, he did 100. He was quite motivated the first day, and he did about 150 pushes after how many years? And the next day, the poor guy couldn't even lift his shoulders. All right. So it's okay. I said, okay, it doesn't matter whether you do 150 or 200 push-ups a day. It really doesn't matter. Even if you do 2 or 3 or 4 every day, but the frequency is what matters. Every 24 hours, build it a part of your habitual exercise, habitual routine, that you are physically doing some kind of an exercise. All right. So these are some of the suggestions that I wanted to make as strategies to cope, how to manage the stress in these lockdown times. There will be times when you'll go through the ups and downs of the emotions. Don't worry about it, because the influences are so much that, like, people are being threatened with so many things. But if you fall into those traps, then you are sheep mentality. If you come out of this alive with a new skill set, here I am, Tarzan, and I want to do something worthwhile, and I want to do something good for other people, and I want to do some damage control in my life for the life. So many people have gone into self-reflection. Example, Zofi's niece, I won't name her because, her employers might find this out. She says, you know what? This has made me think, what am I doing in a job? I want to do something more in my life. Otherwise, 20, 30 years will pass and I will just sort of waste my life and look back. So this has made me think. A lot of people have started thinking about this. I hope you are also one of those people who's thinking about doing something or recreating, modifying, tweaking, molding your life into a slightly different future. I see this event as a, the 9/11 event. or many other events in history were known as the Black Swan events. Okay, those happenings helped mankind shift its direction into something else. So this coronavirus is also a Black Swan event. So the whole world, yes, people can foresee there will be a new order of things, there'll be new rules, there'll be new macro situations. Some things will be better, some things will be worse. In my opinion, I think majority of things will be worse. But then again, because of the population growth happening so much and so on and so forth, I mean, people are still thinking about getting into marriages right now and then having babies at this time and so on and so forth. Imagine, we cannot even look after ourselves well. Why are we bringing in more babies into this world so that you dedicate your life worrying about them into a macro forces which you cannot even control, and then knowing that your child is going to be in torture all or his or her life? Why do you want to bring more people into this world? So this is the time to put an end to population growth too. And this is according to Thomas Malthusian theory, that natural disasters will kick in. Why? Because of the population growth, to equalize the population growth. And this is one of the things which is actually happening. All right, I'm done. So over to Zofi.
No, I think I've been contributing
Yes.
throughout.
Yeah.
I'll just, Haseeb has already given you a few tips and tools. And I had those written down as well. But when you feel suffocated, you feel cabin fever, go to your garden. In fact, make it a family thing. Do family activities, play board games with your families, enjoyable things. Something, maybe paper mache, maybe paper mache, maybe creating something with plastic bottles. There's so much. I mean, sometimes it's difficult to think. So as he was saying, create something, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel either. Everything is on internet. Do something with the kids. So find time for that, because it'll keep them busy. Plan the day. Every day when you get up in the morning, don't look at your phone for the first half an hour. That is the time for your gratitude as well. Waking up, alhamdulillah, another day over here. And that is the time for your planning. Plan, if you're working from home, plan for your teams and plan for your families as well, because you have more of an experience of goal setting. So within that, do some physical exercise with the family, do a karaoke night. You can do so much, play a board game, but find your me time, as Haseeb said. And one day you do the cooking. At least one meal. Try something new. Try a new cuisine. What you haven't. Again, listen to podcasts, journal, read, etc. I would strongly suggest that you can also do some online courses. There are lots of them being offered free. You're seeing at webinars, etc. People are doing as a CSR initiative. But other than that, there is Coursera as well. Do an online course on something totally different. And spring has just passed us. Do clean up your workspace, clean up the house, clean up your cupboard, throw extra clothes, donate them. It's a good time to do a thorough spring cleaning of the house as well as the mind.
Yeah, that's what Zofi keeps telling me, that so yesterday it was my responsibility to clean up a lot of stuff which never gets cleaned. The things which are at the back, like the commode and the garbage cans, washing all those. So, but yeah, and a nice shower after that was very refreshing. But then again, somebody has to do those things too, right? So get your hands dirty, get involved. But I also realized when I was doing those dirty jobs, I was getting the smells and everything also. But I was also not thinking of any problems or anything depressive. I was in the moment. So it was a mindful activity. So cleaning can be a mindful activity. Cooking can be a mindful activity. Walking in nature, exercising, doing something worthwhile, writing something. So be in the moment. Don't be focused too much into the outside world, the past or the future, but be in the present moment.
Yeah, be proactive. That is the motto of this particular situation. Just be proactive. Don't be reactive. We are reactive when we are looking at the news, at what people are sending me. We are members of a lot of WhatsApp groups as well. So there is a new kind of videos being shared, etc. I don't watch it. I don't want it. I don't want to be reactive. I don't want my mind to think according to what you want me to think. I do take a look at the news maybe once a week just to see that whether the lockdown is continuing, etc. What I'm trying to say is that be proactive in other things which are in your control.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good deal. So how much time do we have left? We have about 10 minutes left. And I promised you guys that I'll sort of like take you on a guided meditation. Give me a signal that you would like me to go into and take about a few minutes to sort of like help you switch off from the monkey brain that you have. And since this is a live session, maybe some people can benefit out of this. All right. What's happening here? On this one. Okay. Very good. This is also nice. So let me. All right. There's a whole bunch of people watching here and there and there. All right, good deal. So there are 3 platforms we are going live on right now. So this is the thing. All right. A little bit of guided meditation. So we're talking about the untrained mind. We're talking about the monkey brain. So pay very close attention as to what I'm going to be saying right now. I'm sharing with you a tool which I've learned over a period of 60 years. Well, actually, 50 years when I started doing yoga, but meditation is only about 3 or 4 years ago. But now I do meditation almost like, every time I get up about 4 o'clock in the morning and about for 2 hours. Switching off the mind, switching off the monkey brain. Yes, Ahmad Zaidi, I will actually, yeah. The monkey brain. So I want you to think about something. So untrained mind to a trained mind, what are the do's and don'ts? And it's very simple, but very powerful. People can go and lift hundreds of kgs in a gym, but they cannot switch off their mind. The mental exercise to switch off the mind is more difficult than lifting those heavy weights. So why is that? Because we never acquired the skills as kids to focus on or to increase our concentration level. There were always distractions here and there, and we kept becoming a victim to those distractions. In fact, when there are no distractions, we feel there's something is missing and I'm bored. So thoughts and emotions, they take over. What are those thoughts and what are those emotions? So imagine yourself. In fact, let me show it first on this one. Yeah. Let me show you the sky. Let me also share with you where I am right now. Yeah? So this is where we are. This is our cave, so the trees and the jungle out there and so forth. But I want you to take a focus on the clouds. You see some clouds there, right? All right. It's a cloudy day today. You can't see the sky. But then again, imagine that there is a sky somewhere. Okay. But yeah. So here we are. I want you to focus on. All right. So I want you to focus on 2-3 things. Number 1 is my voice. Secondly, I want you to focus on your breathing. Breathing in from the nose and breathing out from the nose. Or breathing in from the nose and breathing out from your mouth. It takes about 3 to 5 seconds for an inhale and exhale. And I want your full attention and your full focus on the breath when I request you to do so. So I'm just preparing you for it. And then, so example, you are, so I'm going to build a metaphor for you to understand this concept. Yeah, it's very simple. The way I explain it, it'll make a lot of sense. But then again, yeah. So Labib, thank you for joining. But I want you to focus on a couple of things. Yes, I know that you want to look at me while this video is on. But when I ask you to close your eyes, I want you to just close your eyes and listen to my voice and just follow my instructions at that time. And then later, if you want, I can actually record an audio and send it to you also, or you can play it back and then do the same too. So imagine clouds in the sky. Some are dark, some are bright, some are small, some are big, some are white, some are black. But there are different clouds, and the clouds are going, clouds are moving. They're not constant. No cloud is constant. So your thoughts are like those clouds. Your emotions, incidentally, are also like those clouds. So you don't know, we get entangled into a cloud or a thought or an emotion, and we sort of like lose the focus on our true self. So, but you are not the cloud. You are not the clouds. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. Imagine yourself, you are the sky, the blue sky. So you are the sky, and the thoughts and emotions, which is the clouds, are moving. So keep this metaphor in mind. Thoughts will come in your mind. Thoughts will go from your mind. Thoughts will manifest in your mind, whether it could be a memory, it could be a trigger, it could be a fear, it could be something that is bothering you in your mind. It could be a highway of your mind, which is sort of like bringing in any new fears, because it maybe has a time lapse on it. And sort of like if it hasn't surfaced in about half an hour, that fear will feel ignored and it will try to manifest itself into something. Why? Because it's a habit of the mind. So identify those patterns of your own mind. That's a wise, mature mind. So I want you to now sit straight. I want you to sit straight, and I want you to close your eyes. All right. I can see myself on this video while I'm talking to you, but I want you to sort of like, and you can watch this later, but for the sake of this exercise, if I may request you to sort of like just close your eyes and focus on the breathing. So keep your body straight, not tense, but relaxed. Keep your neck straight, and then focus your attention to your breath. And focus on your attention to your breath. Your full attention of your mind is on your breathing. So find a focal point. It could be your nostrils. It could be your distribution point, as I call it. It could be your throat. It could be your chest. It could be your stomach. But inhale and exhale and full focus on the breath. Mind goes into some other thought because the monkey brain is kicking in. No problem. Bring your attention back to the breath, because those thoughts, whatever is manifesting in your mind, is like the cloud. Don't get entangled. Don't get fixed into that crowd. Just come out of it. Focus on the breath. Stay with the breath for a little bit longer. So those of you who are joining in, like Binu, yeah, Shami, close your eyes and just follow my instructions, please. I'm taking people on a guided meditation. So those of you who are focusing on the breath, focus on the breath. Mind goes off somewhere. Bring it back to the moment. Bring it back to the moment. I have this singing bowl with me, and I got this from the Tibetan monastery in Pokhara, Nepal last year, and I'm gonna use this, and I want you to sort of like listen to the sound for as long as you can. All right. So your job is to listen to the sound as long as. So there are two ways of getting into the meditative state. One is by focusing on the breath, and the other is by listening to sounds. Now it's raining outside. I don't know whether you can hear the rain, but then again, at least you can hear this. Again, 1, 2, 3, go. One more time. All right, so that's it. So now slowly bring yourself back into the room where you are sitting. You were just in a meditative state for a fraction of a second, perhaps. Or some people who do meditation on a longer period of time, they probably were there for a longer period of time. But slowly, 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 open your eyes and come back to this moment. Now, for many of you, you were trying to concentrate onto your breathing, and it was difficult, and some thoughts were manifesting like the clouds coming and going, and you were sort of like getting trapped into it. So frequency of your thoughts manifesting in your mind will reduce over a period of time. The more you will do these exercises, slowly, 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 over a period of time, you can sustain yourself for a longer period of time into a zone called stillness. So what is the purpose of this meditative techniques? Is to bring yourself into a state of stillness. You don't have to think of anything. You don't have to think of any specific thing. Normally we sort of like say, okay, what do I think about? What should I think about now? My mind is idle. No, it's not idle. It is healing itself. When you are in a no thinking zone, your mind is actually healing. It's like a system reboot. For some people, right now also, maybe for a fraction of a second, you went into a silence mode, into nothingness. What is that nothingness? That nothingness is the power where your subconscious mind and your conscious mind is entangled together. And that is where you can bring in more creative ideas over a period of time when you start happening. So yeah, so this is a meditation technique. Type in on Headspace, download this app, and you can do this very frequently. I'm even thinking about starting my own podcasts of meditations to help people, because a lot of people give me a feedback that, hey, Haseeb, you have a good voice. You have a good voice and you need to use this effectively. And I said, okay, fine. Yeah. Hamza, my son, also has a very good voice. So so him and I are thinking about starting these meditative posts on podcasts. So look out in this space how we are going to be tackling this. Yes, Zofi, I'm going to be closing so they can bring in. All right, folks, it's been 2 hours that we've been talking to you. Hopefully that this was beneficial. And so this is just a part of our CSR. Yes, we've started making money through our online sessions also. So if you are a part of HR, if you are a part of decision maker, bring us in to motivate your people. That's also there. But apart from that, the intention behind this exercise was to benefit people as a CSR initiative and to help people to this. Very good. So Afia says, I will try to do this more often. Very good, Afia. Keep it up. You are in New Jersey in the US, in Washington. Sorry, Afia. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. It was fun for us. I'm certain you would have benefit. You would benefit from this. If there are any more questions, just put your comments here and we'll try to answer it later. In the meanwhile, stay healthy, stay safe, stay relaxed.
And one more thing, please. If you have benefited from this video, please invite your friends to watch it, because this is for the benefit of people who need some help in switching off on a few things. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for being here with us. From your busy routines, you could have been elsewhere out there having some coffee in Starbucks or some other place, but you chose to be here with us. I'm just joking, yeah? So thank you for being here, and hopefully this was beneficial to you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.